So how do we want our students to think when they graduate from our institutions? This is not subtle and complex. We want them to think clearly, accurately, precisely, relevantly, deeply, broadly when necessary, logically, with an eye for the significant, with a sense of consistency, and with a desire to be fair. None of those are controversial aims. No one says, no, not me. I want my students to be muddled, vague, ambiguous. I want them to slip and slide around, never knowing quite what they're saying. Clarification is for the unwashed. It's a Western value. We in the East love being unclear. We are often imprecise. It's a cultural standard. No, everywhere around the world where you find the best thinkers in the culture, they agree on the standards. They don't necessarily agree on the application of the standards to this or that case. Then the argument goes on. But they agree on the ground rules. And even those who negate these ground rules presuppose them while they're negating them. Because suppose they gave us a critique of critical thinking that was unclear, inaccurate, imprecise, irrelevant, why should we pay attention to such a lousy critique? So either they're using what they're denying, or they're not. And if they're using it, they refute themselves on the face of it. And if they're not using it, why should we pay attention to it? So the concept of critical thinking has a simplicity to it, but it also has a complexity. It's dual. The simplicity is given in the basic concept. The complexity enters as soon as you try to apply it in all the forms of knowledge. Anthropological thinking, historical thinking, thinking like a civil engineer, thinking like a nurse, algebraic thinking, biochemical thinking, criminological thinking, epidemiological thinking, ecological thinking. These are all domains of thought, forms of thought. Each of them need critical thinking. Each of them needs someone to think through the field critically. And there is tremendous complexity in that program. You'll see from the Thinker's Guides, which we give you, that we've contextualized the basic concept into a few areas, about 20. But look at, we don't have a Thinker's Guide for each of those, but we need them. We need them. Every field needs to think itself through critically and show us that it has done so, and help us, if we study the field, to come out as critical practitioners, not as simply voices of the paradigm, of the dominant present point of view. We should be beyond that. We should see the strengths, the insights in the present point of view, by all means, but we should see the limitations of the field. We should be taught to be intellectually humble persons of knowledge, where we have knowledge of our ignorance, as well as knowledge of our knowledge.